filmed in a month, so please don't judge me for being weird. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to the first episode module, I don't know what to call it, the first part to my polymer clay workshop series. This is just going to be the basic set of tools that I use, that I'm going to be using for the first couple of for the first round of workshop videos. I've tried to find like free or cheap alternatives because I understand that people don't want to like invest a lot, and I didn't want to invest a lot when I first started doing clay, and I think that to be honest my tools are really basic to begin with, so I feel like I'm in a good place to actually like show you guys what I do. Some of the stuff is optional and I'll let you know, and I'll let you know the alternatives that you might already have, and I'll also try to let you know like how important they are, if that makes sense. Anyways, let's get into it. So that's my cat. I'm just gonna ignore it because he's been crying all day. So the first thing you'll obviously need is clay. Like, I mean, that's pretty obvious. The brand that I use is the Primo Sculpey, or the Sculpey Primo. I will be doing, the next video I'll be doing is actually on the clay, like which clays I'd recommend to buy, like what colors and how to condition it, stuff like that. So yeah, wait for that one to pick which clay you want. Then the first thing I have is this roller. So I didn't start off using a roller. I bought this from an art supply shop, but you can also buy them on eBay. I started off using a jar because it's just to roll the clay out. So you could use like a wine bottle would be quite good, or like a coffee jar. If it's small like this, it's going to limit like how big of a slab you can make. So the longer the better, and also like the thinner the better. They all work the same. These are just a little bit easier to use. The second thing is, and I think this is probably where I might vary the most, I have to say the stuff that I do is just the stuff that I do. I don't know if it's like the industry standard. I don't know if it's normal, so please don't judge me. But the knife that I've used from the beginning and I love is my cheese knife. I don't use it for cheese because I'm vegan and I don't really eat cheese, even vegan cheese, that much, so I use my cheese knife. It sounds so silly, but it's really good. You want a flat knife, not a serrated, and one that's like medium sharp. I really like having a point as well. You will need a knife. Some people use like a, what would you call it, like a big razor blade. I don't really like it. I feel like, to be honest, I'm pretty clumsy and I would cut myself with it. And I just found the knives a lot easier to use, like to get really like good cutouts. So yeah, I would recommend a small cheese knife like this. I don't even know if this is a cheese knife, or just like a steak knife even, that's just got like a flat edge, not serrated, and a point. I would just test out knives later that you have. Then the next one is just a paintbrush. I'm using a nice paintbrush because it was the first one that I picked up when I started using it, and now it's already got the liquid clay on it, so I'm stuck with it because I don't know how to completely wash it off. But you don't need to use a nice one, anyone will do. A flat, like a thin but like long one will be the best. I don't know how to explain that. Hopefully you can see it in the close-up what I mean. Okay, so I bought a really big pack of clay modeling tools on eBay, and it came with a whole bunch of different tools in it, but I only use one, which is this tool. On one end it has like a pointy end. I'm so technical. On one end it has like a needle, and then the other hand it has like a little spade. I don't even think this is made like properly. It's kind of like angled, and I don't know if it's meant to be angled, like a little shovel. I'm not sure if I have like an alternative for the shovel end. I guess you could use like a butter knife, just anything that's like a thin flat metal edge. But for the pointed end, you could use a skewer, a toothpick. I didn't have either of those things in my house when I was looking for stuff, but I did have a pin, and the thicker pin the better. Like you could use like a hat pin, or you could use like a needle. Mine's a lot thinner, but that doesn't really matter. Just anything that looks like that has a point. Then the next thing is, I'm calling it a dotting tool. It's like a ball end tool. I use this quite a lot, and I've seen a lot of other people using it as well. It's got a really cool kind of plastic display thing. I like doing this with it. So the best alternative I could think of for this would be to use a bobby pin and just pull the bobby pin apart to make it so that you can use the little bobble end as your dot tool. And so far I would say that you need all of these to follow along. Yeah, okay. So then the next thing I have is my drill. So you don't need a drill. I will show you how to make holes in your things when the clay is wet with the dotting tool. I don't know how well it works with the alternative for the dotting tool, the bobby pin, but I will try to use that and show you guys how to do it with that. Sorry. My cat just ran into the room and jumped up on the wall and then ran out. But yeah, so I made this by buying a bunch of little 1 mil to 1.5 mil drill bits on eBay. And then I just made a handle with the clay and cooked it and put super glue and then put the drill back in. I can make one and show you guys if you want. I've just found that putting the hole in the earring after when it's baked is better for me, because I kind of mess it up when I'm putting the hole in before. The next thing is another thing that I definitely don't do. That's like no, I definitely do. That's a bit weird. I use cardboard for my spaces. So you put these down to get the thickness of your clay, and you use your roller over the top of them. I really like using cardboard. I just started out using these because I had them, like I had cardboard in my house, and I really liked them. I've tried the plastic ones or the acrylic ones, and I don't like them. I really like the cardboard. I feel like it kind of absorbs some of the clay oils, and I also use it as I put it underneath the earrings when I drill them, so I don't drill my table. And right now I'm looking at a bunch of holes on my table before I realized that I could do that. Yeah, don't drill right onto your table. It's not smart. You can add a third one so they're thicker. You can make your own depth kind of thing. Like you can make really thick ones and really thin. I just find them super useful. So I use 2 on each side for like most of my earrings. I got the cardboard from the back of like just normal notepads like these. I also already had like a stack of them from selling prints. Like it's called backing board. You can also buy it just straight on eBay, but if you have one of these, I would recommend about like 1/2 centimeter. Like I think about like 6 millimeters is the standard, and I do mine a little bit thinner, at 5 mil. But you can just cut them like about 1 inch and however long you want. The longer is probably the better. Mine are probably quite short. And then you just stack them on top of each other to the thickness that you want. And I've had these same ones for a year and they're totally fine. I mean, you could just roll without the spaces, but it's going to be a bit difficult to follow along without them. You could use like books that you don't care about. Like you could put rubber bands on the outside of these at the same thickness. That would be difficult to get the same size so it's even. But yeah, you can really just use anything as long as that you can lean the ruler on them and get the same thickness on either side. This is another thing that you need, and it sounds like something everyone would have, but I'm not sure. Old postcards will work as well, but you have to be first off, they're old business cards or business cards that you don't want. I obviously have a bunch of these because I run 2 businesses, so I have a lot of business cards and postcards. But yeah, you need these to make the stencils for when we make shapes later. It's because they have the little plastic coating. When you sit them on the clay, you can lift them back up without pulling the clay with you. So you just need something that has like a glossy, like a ish coat that you can draw on one side of and then cut them out. You can also use cookie cutters, but that's not how I do it, so I wouldn't really be able to help you in regards to like cleaning up, because the cookie cutters cut in a weird way that the knife doesn't. I really prefer not using cookie cutters to cut out the clay, but you absolutely can if you want to, if you don't have anything to use as a stencil. The next thing that you're gonna need is, and I just keep mine all in this little container, the next thing you're gonna need is earring posts. Again, I just buy this on eBay. Sometimes they're not great, but if you're just learning and you're not selling them, it doesn't matter. What I did was I just ordered a bunch, and the ones that came that I liked, I kept ordering from them. If you don't want to do that, you can just pay a little bit more and order from like a proper jewelry seller, which is like totally fine. If you order through a website that sells stuff for like polymer clay, you should get better quality stuff. But if you don't want to spend a lot of money, you can just order things through eBay. It's totally fine. For the way that I do my backs, you don't want to have really tiny backs. I would recommend like 6 mil and above. The bigger that you have it, you have to remember that the top of your earring has to be bigger than that, bigger than the base. So I have some that I use sometimes on really small based earrings that are, yeah, about 6 mil, and they're quite difficult to use. And I've had ones smaller, like 4 mil, and I couldn't really use them. And they are obviously non-negotiable because they're the earring. Then jump rings. So you don't have to do jump rings. I just buy them again on eBay. Sometimes you can get ones that aren't great, that have like tarnish on them, but you don't have to use jump rings. The reason that you want to use a jump ring is so that you can have 2 parts to your earrings and attach them to each other, which is pretty common. But if you're just practicing, just make studs. You can make big studs, you can make like any shape you want. You just won't have 2 parts to them because you won't be able to attach them. I would recommend getting jump rings, but if you're just learning and you don't even know if you're gonna like the clay, just make studs to start with. So 2 flat pliers. I got the wrong kind of pliers at the start, the ones with like the teeth on them, and I kept ruining my jump rings, and I didn't understand why, but because they were like biting into it. But again, I got these just from eBay. You need 2, and they are for the jump rings. So if you don't have jump rings, you don't need pliers. But yeah, you'll need 2 so that you can put one on either side of the jump ring, and then open it up and then put it through your earrings and close it back up again. And then you'll need earring backs. Normally when you buy the earring post, they'll sell you earring backs with it. I prefer the ones with the big plastic on the outside. I just think it makes your earrings sit better. And if you're going to sell your earrings, this is kind of the standard that most people use. I had a lot of trouble finding these, and the person that I was buying them from doesn't seem to be selling at the moment. I'm hoping that they come back online in the future, but yeah, you can kind of get some dodgy ones. Like I bought some from Lincraft and they were horrible, and I've bought some from some of the craft suppliers and I really didn't like them. A whole bunch of them actually got stuck on the back of earrings and I couldn't pull them off. But I don't know if that's just me. You can pretty much order them from anywhere. They're normally called safety backs, and I don't know if that's just like because of my post, that my post didn't go with it. But if you're just doing them for yourself or practicing, I wouldn't worry, just get any earring backs. Like the little butterfly clips are fine. And then we have the gloss glaze. Now this is a finishing and you don't have to have this at all. I like to use it sometimes. I probably should have put it in the advanced one because you definitely don't need it in this, but I put it in here, so there we go. And then the thing that you definitely need is transparent or clear or like it basically just liquid clay. And I have the clear one, but I used to use the transparent one, or the what's it called, translucent one. Again, I got this on eBay. It is a little bit of money. It was like $20. You don't need it except if you're following my tutorial. So you'll need it if you're following my tutorial because I use it. I could maybe show you ways to get around it, but it would be better if that makes sense. For other people that do like flat clay, or they don't bake I bake my earrings at multiple points throughout to make sure that I don't mess them up, and it just makes it all easier for me. So you need the liquid clay. Liquid clay is how you stick clay to baked clay. So I use it to put the earring backs on. I use it to put the top on, like the top decoration detail on my earrings. So I would get it if you want to do that like through mine. But you could just put it straight on the wet clay and not bake your bottoms. That sounds bad, bake your bottoms. And then just super glue the earring backs on the back. You could totally do that. And that's it. The only other things I have that I don't know if you would call them tools, but like you'll need is an oven tray. I like to use a non-stick tray so that I don't have to waste like baking paper, and I just find that it sits the flattest and is the best for baking earrings. And baking paper. So this has two things that you can use it for. If you don't have a non-stick pan, or you want to use your non-stick pan for cooking outside of this, I would not recommend using the clay in it because of cross-contamination. I don't really think it would be good for the earrings, and it wouldn't be good for you to eat off it. The clay is like kind of hard to remove from stuff. I run that one through the dishwasher and it still has a lot of clay like stuck to it, like residue. So I would have a solo tray for it. If you don't want to do that, use the polymer clay, not the polymer clay, use the baking paper in between your earrings and your tray. Also, if you don't have a table that is suited to clay, so originally I was told to use a piece of glass or a tile, and I didn't have a tile, and I used a picture frame. But when I was rolling it, I had to blue tack the frame to my table, otherwise it would slip around. And then the little the difference that the blue tack made, like the gap that the blue tack made, was only like 0.5 millimeter, but it was enough to crack the glass when I rolled it. And then I had glass everywhere, so I would be very careful if you use a glass one. So I just started using my table and it worked for me. I think the reason that my table works is because it's made from bamboo, so I can put the clay right on it. It has its own oil, so it doesn't stick. I wouldn't use a polished table. I wouldn't use a table that has like texture. So if you don't have a tile lying around, or like a piece of glass that you like happy that it's not going to break easily, I would just put baking paper down on the flattest table you can. That would be my recommendation. Or if you just don't want to put polymer clay right onto your table, because not everyone like wants to do that. But yeah, baking paper will work for that. I also used to do that until I realized that my table was fine. That's everything that I think that you'll need to have or might need to have. I'm gonna try and put these out quite quickly together, so don't rush out and buy all of the stuff that you need. right away. I would like watch a couple of episodes and then see if you actually want to try it out. If you already have this stuff, that's awesome. Next episode is going to be just on clay, and I'm not going to be making any earrings yet. I just feel like there's a lot of people that have done clay tutorials, and I'd like to just make super basic, like basically like the idea that you know nothing about it. But I will go into advanced stuff later. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you guys have enjoyed it and you look forward to the next episodes. Yeah, hopefully life in quarantine times isn't too bad on you guys, and that you're doing well or okay. Honestly, our motto has kind of been surviving is like perfect. As long as we get through it, that's okay. You don't have to be productive, you don't have to do anything. Yeah, that's basically the kind of mindset that we've been having, is not to judge ourselves or each other, and just what we do is great and what we don't do is fine. It's a weird time, so it's very like, it's understandable that we're not all doing well. Yeah, like I wanted to do this a month ago and it's taken me a month to get here, so it's pretty normal. Anyways, I really hope you guys like this, and leave a comment for any like suggestions or questions and stuff you want me to answer throughout this series, or any ideas that you have for things you'd like to see. I'd really like to keep it running and go into like really detailed specific designs and stuff like that, but we'll see. Okay, bye.